Kier Starmer has been accused of espionage, effectively spying in the United States of America. This one is absolutely wild, but believe me, it's genuinely true and could represent a really serious problem. It's already started with him not being invited to the inauguration of President Trump. He's the first British Prime Minister not to have been invited in decades. Hello everyone, this is Andre Walker. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe, but more importantly, hit the bell notification icon, because the best way to absolutely guarantee you get all of my videos as soon as they are released. Right. Now, we've all heard about this suggestion that Kier Starmer was recruited by the KGB when he went to the Czech Republic, rather Czechoslovakia, to build a war memorial. Well, we know that this communist boot camp was attended by a lot of people on the British left, and a lot of them have been talked about in recently released KGB files, including Jeremy Corbyn, who the KGB said was too stupid to be recruited as a spy. But it's really interesting that they never said anything about Kier Starmer. Do I believe he's a Russian spy? No, I don't. I believe they had sympathy with the Soviet Union, but that's probably not the same. Well, it's absolutely not the same thing. This is slightly different. It is a technical breach of the law, but it's something that really has irked Republicans in the United States of America. And effectively, it's this. First and foremost, the Labour Party has been showing off about the fact that 100 senior activists went over to the United States of America to help in marginal states, help the Kamala Harris campaign. The Trump campaign have already complained to the Federal Election Commission, the FEC, about foreign interference. They say that this is something that was an illegal foreign donation. Now, this debate has been going on for some time. We know all about it. By the way, what the Labour Party say is because their activists were not paid and the Labour Party didn't coordinate it, that means it's not foreign interference. What the Trump campaign say is, well, hang on a second. First of all, we don't know that they weren't paid. Secondly, we don't know who paid the expenses. And thirdly, actually, senior Labour officials have been going on about 100 people attending, and the fact that a large number in of themselves came over to the United States of America suggests there was some form of organisation. How would you know that 100 of your officials are going unless there was some sort of records kept in some way, shape or form? And that may in of itself constitute organising or colluding to organise that sort of a thing. That is with the Federal Electoral Commission. And you know something? People may face criminal charges in the United States of America over it. I'll tell you what would be funny. Under Tony Blair's law, you can extradite people to the United States of America without any prima facie evidence. So it could well be that people from the United Kingdom are cast over to America to face these allegations. And by the way, the Americans don't muck about. If you break the law over there and you get convicted, you are going to prison for a very, 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 very long time. And Kier Starmer himself might get into trouble. Here is why it's important. Elon Musk has been tweeting about this today, and I'll put some of the tweets, the links in the description. Critically, what's happened is this. First of all, David Atherton. Hello, David. I know he watches this channel. I'll put a link to his Twitter in the description as well. He said, well, hang on a second. If 100 people went over to work on the Kamala Harris campaign, did they have the right to work in the United States of America? Did they have a green card? Did they have a permit? Did they have all the relevant accreditation? Now, they say that they did it themselves, so they don't necessarily need it. I'm not so sure. I mean, if I volunteer to paint your house in America, then that is, in fact, a breach of the visa waiver scheme. I think they should have got a visa to go to the United States of America. I think they are allowed to do voluntary work on a political campaign, but they should have got the relevant paperwork. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is, in the United States of America, it is illegal to be a foreign agent unless you register as a foreign agent. So they don't actually throw people out for spying. They throw them out for failing to register as spies. So if you are an official from the United Kingdom and you go over to the United States of America and work politically, you have to register as a foreign agent. Now, by the way, that may sound odd, but people do it all the time. Because there are legitimate people working in intelligence. We've got people from MI6 working at the British Embassy in the United States of America, not necessarily spying on the Americans, though I'm sure they do, at least to an extent, but working together with them. And that is something that is a legitimate thing to do. Similarly, Anne Secoulis, remember her, who went the wrong way down the road and killed that young man, accidentally, of course. She was a registered foreign agent, or at least her husband was, in the United Kingdom. So If these people have not registered, then potentially what's happened is the UK government and the Labour Party is guilty of supplying foreign agents in the United States of America. Next, that they didn't have work permits or relevant visa paperwork. Thirdly, they failed to register as foreign agents, which is an offence. And fourthly, they may have broken election law anyway by doing anything at all to assist Kamala Harris. Now, some people are going to say, well, this is just Donald Trump trying to get back at the Democrat Party for saying that he received support from Vladimir Putin. Well, that may well be true, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a point. And with Kier Starmer being the leader of this party, it heavily implicates him. Now, the title of this, you go, oh, this is clickbait. Look, at the end of the day, failure to register as a foreign agent is an espionage spying offence. Of course it is, because what is the foreign agent but an officer of a foreign country operating without the knowledge of the federal government, if they're unregistered, that is. And so that is something that could be serious. Now, let's get on to the inauguration. I want to look at my phone and read out all of the people that have been invited to the inauguration. There's loads of them. The Chinese President Xi Jinping has said no. The Italian Prime Minister said yes. Argentine President said yes. President of El Salvador. The Hungarian Prime Minister, former President of Brazil, and a couple of other people as well. But Kier Starmer has not been invited. And the reason he's not been invited is not because Donald Trump dislikes his politics, though he clearly does. It's actually because of this wider issue that he believes that he is somebody who interfered in the US presidential election. And that's a real problem. I think this is a real dog's dinner. I'm going to say this. You know, the political left are so in love with the EU that they want us to pay higher prices in shops. The United States trade deal is without doubt a good idea for the United States of America and the United Kingdom. Look, it's going to be damaging for farmers to have cheaper goods coming in. But I personally think on a small island like this, we have to give subsidies to farmers anyway, right? They're never going to be able, we have brilliant farmers. We're never going to be able to match the efficiency of these big American farms, but that's fine. I think subsidising farmers is a matter of national security, because if there ever was a war and there was a blockade of the United Kingdom, we would need those farmers to continue. So you don't want to just completely shut the industry down because stuff can be produced cheaper abroad. And then you get people to decide in the shop, you know what, a chlorine chicken? Why not have it? Of course, it's only dipped in chlorine to avoid salmonella, which is, by the way, not a bad idea. It's only as chlorinated as the stuff, believe it or not, they dip salad into in the EU. Never mentioned that, did they? But we do need that UK-US trade deal, or it would be hugely advantageous. We've got Lammy and Starmer, both of whom are absolutely hated by Donald Trump. That is something that is extremely damaging. Now, I do think putting Peter Mandelson into the UK embassy in Washington is helpful. But he's still a pro-European G-man, let's just be clear, right? He's not Mr. Supporter of the United States of America, sorry, or rather, biggest supporter of the transatlantic relationship. We've got to get much more serious about this. And this is a serious misfire. Remember, Winston Churchill, I'll tell you the carrot story. Right, so it was often said when I was a kid that if you ate carrots, you got better eyesight. Do you know where that comes from? The Daily Telegraph during the Second World War said that British pilots were so good because they ate carrots and it improved their eyesight. Do you know what the Luftwaffe said? They said that network of posts and antennas that we've seen built on the south coast of England is a super weapon that can see us in the dark. Radar. Right, they didn't know exactly what it was, but they said the reason these guys can shoot us down in the dark has nothing to do with carrots. It's got something to do with what they're building. The United Kingdom really surrendered its superpower status to the United States of America when the USA, at the beginning of the Second World War, had the 17th most sophisticated military in the world, 1-7. And the UK handed them all of our military intellectual property and said, we will give it to you now you've entered the war as long as you make the stuff. And that made them a superpower. The first time in human history a superpower has voluntarily surrendered its status to somebody else. Why am I telling you this story? We have bet the farm on the United States of America being A, our closest ally, and B, the most powerful country on earth. If we build up either of those, the United Kingdom has significant problems, right? We cannot allow Kier Starmer to continue doing this, sending 100 officials to help Kamala Harris was a real mistake. And if they haven't committed an immigration offence, if they haven't committed a financial offence, if they haven't committed an offence to the SEC, it would still be an incredibly bad idea. And the fact that Starmer isn't going to the inauguration is going to be a real problem. I think we get out of jail, though, simply because Trump loves the royal family so much that we'll probably deploy the king and it'll all be fine. But it's, this is a very risky thing. So there you go, Starmer the spy. Hang on a second, I've just thought he's been accused of spying for both the Soviet Union and in the United States of America. Well, I suppose he's been accused in both countries. Unbelievable. Until next time, goodbye.